So hello guys, what's up and welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's me, your girl Barrister Neze, and this is Nezeville. Today's video will be a continuation from the former, where we began analyzing step by step the almighty part 8 of Peter's series. Now remember, as I mentioned, that we are uncovering the foundation, the root causes and the emotional triggers that have led to what we can now call the biggest family fallout in Nigeria's entertainment space. If you are yet to watch the former, do not fail to do that. It's just a video before this one. Watch it and then come back to this one, okay? Let's go on. In today's video, we will get into the mom and Lola's side of the tell-all, and there will be lots to learn. We're going to dive right into it. Now, we stopped right after the award incident, right? Where Peter dedicated the award that was given to PSQUARE to his girlfriend and their coming child. So let's proceed.
Pulled over and said, "What was that for?" I said, "What's the problem? Do you know how this thing is going to ruin our career?" I said, "How ruin our career?" I don't want the news to break me. I decided to break the news. The last thing I want to see online, start saying, "This idiot, this is that." No, once I break the news, it's no more going to be a rumor. By the time we go home in Omole, next thing I heard from Jude, she must come out that pikin. That woman must come out that pikin. You're talking to her. Do you know how old I was that time, Jude? I was almost 27. Nothing that Jude and Paul didn't do for Lola to take that pregnancy out. To a point, they forged an email. Jude and Paul forged an email. I'll try and trace that email to frame Lola up. I was on my own in my room one day. Paul came to me and said, "Jude send you message." I checked my phone. He said, "No, not before phone, for your email." I checked. I read that email for nearly about 20 minutes. An unknown person sent an email to Jude. Jude now forwarded to me. The things I was seeing there were rubbish. Oh, that my son is not my son. According to them, that the unknown person claimed that my son is not my son. That Lola is using the child to trap me. That I don't want to name some notable names that they mention. Mention about 4 notable names. Is that either of them that got Lola pregnant? He said, "You don't read that finish." I said, "What you go do about her?" I said, "What are you expecting me to do?" "Peter, this thing go kill our career." Kill what career, Paul?
Now, are you seeing how many times we are hearing our career, kill our career, affect our brand, career, brand? So at first, it wasn't just rejection due to tribe. It was about image. You can imagine how far they were willing to go, according to Peter, saying that they even had to feign a male, an anonymous male that he claimed emanated or originated from them. So they were like, kill our career, our brand, our reputation, our name. That was the first concern.
That my girlfriend is pregnant. Kill what career, Paul? I didn't bother. I forwarded that email to Lola.
No. My kings, please, in this case, don't forward it. If you have already decided within you, you are convinced that that mail is a lie, it was a conspiracy. So forwarding it to her is not like, oh, I'm trying to ask questions if it's true. Forwarding it to her is just setting the two sides of your family to knock heads. All you have to do at this point, if you're watching me and you're a guy and something similar happens, address it with your family, delete it. Forwarding it to her is of no importance, because then you are now telling her that your brothers hate her so much that they will go to this extent to get her out of your life. There is only one gain or end point to that. more hostilities. And I think this is a very good time to speak to you about this. Come closer. Come, let me add you, my odogos, my kings. Come, let me have this word with you. I want to teach you something. You know, I will give you real life practical advice, not social media rubbish, not social media advice. I will give you practical counseling that will not worsen situations in your life. You know, some social media advices are very sweet, but when they are applied, they would worsen things in real life. Let me tell you something. If you have decided within you to be with a woman or to continue a relationship that your family is not really in support of, how you communicate your decision to your family matters a lot. And let me tell you something that social media may not always tell you. Because online, many things are black and white. Choose your woman. You are a real man does this. A real man does not allow his... A real man will fight a real man. Anybody that does not support you can go to hell. It sounds powerful, but real life is more complicated than that. As a man, if you have decided that this is the woman that you want to be with, and your family does not quite embrace her, you absolutely have to be firm, because nobody else should run your relationship and your life for you. If you are married, you understand that marriage is not something that they force on another person. Marriage should be something that somebody should willingly and happily enter into, because at the end of the day, it will just be both of you for the most part of it. So you should be firm in your decision, and marriage is not something that another person should impose or refuse for another person, generally speaking. But firmness still requires wisdom. What did I tell you, my odogos? I said, in that you're being firm, you still must apply wisdom. There is a big difference between saying, thank you, ma. Thank you, mom. Okay, I don't hear one day. I have listened to your concerns. I respect that. Thank you very much. But, mommy, I have made up my decision. I have made up my mind. I love this woman. I want to be with her. There's a difference between that and all of you can go to hell. Who are you to tell me what to do? Your opinion is rubbish. I don't care what anybody thinks. It is that I want, and that it must be. This is my woman, and that is the end of it. My brother, calm down. You may think that you are defending your partner. The women might hail you, but in the process, you end up making the whole family resent her even more, because now, in their minds, she has become that woman who has turned you against your family. She has become the reason why you are insulting everybody, rejecting everybody. You no longer listen to anybody. Is that a fair judgment to her? No. But that is how human beings process these things. And that is why wisdom matters. If after you've handled the situation respectfully, calmly, and firmly, they still choose to dislike her, then that is their decision. You cannot control everybody's hearts, but do not actively help in that. Do not go haywire and then put your partner in the middle of the fire. Your job as a man with maturity and wisdom is to establish boundaries without creating enemies when you don't have to. You can stand your ground without necessarily fighting and humiliating and insulting everybody and making your relationship a battle between my woman versus my family. Because once you have framed or designed it that way, everybody will start choosing sides, and that relationship that could have been managed with time. Don't you know, there are some marriages that didn't start all lovey-dovey, family accepting, but with time, slow and steady, everybody would adjust. So that thing that could have been managed with time, with maturity, with boundaries, will now become a tug of everlasting war. And another thing that men need to understand when it comes to your family not particularly accepting the woman that you want, having reservations about the woman that you want, is that every reckless reaction from you can easily be blamed on her, even when she had absolutely nothing to do with it. So protect your partner, not only by defending her when necessary, protect her by handling your family wisely. Do not make her carry the consequences of your poor communication or your rash outbursts. You can be decisive without being disrespectful. You can establish boundaries without completely burning the bridge between you and your family. Wisdom is needed in everything we do. My mother-in-law is around now, and on our vlog channel, please follow us, Neze Pepper and Pray, if you're not. I document our activities and all that, and I see a lot of people saying, oh, they admire my mother-in-law and I and all of that, but nobody really understands the role that my husband or a man has to play, the emotional maturity a man in the middle of these two powerful heavyweights have to demonstrate to regulate the two women, to regulate the old family and the new family. It takes an emotionally mature man in the middle. Regulator, not making one feel like, oh, because of the other you have abandoned me, not making the wife feel like, oh, so these people are more important. You have to play umpire. You have to play with sense. Let's go on with Peter's account.
But let me take you guys back a little bit. So we moved into Omole some years back, almost like 16 years ago. When we moved to Omole, I was one who found the house, the duplex we were living there. Because I found the house, I have to take the master bedroom. Right? When we moved into the house, our mom came. She visited us. From Jos, she came. I greeted my mom. This was like when my son was like 5-6 months old. When my mom visited, of course, I have to give my mom the master bedroom, and I joined Paul's room. My mom didn't come alone. She came out. You all know our mom is a pastor. She came with 3 of our pastors. When my mom came, next thing I greeted my mom, I was just smiling. You're expecting like a mother to be like, how is your new baby? My mom didn't ask. My mom just said, hi, Lola. I just said, she's fine. She said, can you tell her to come tomorrow? I said, okay, you want to see the baby? I'll tell her. She said, no. Let her not come with the baby. I said, Mom, why? You don't want to see the baby? She just said, no. Let her come first. My people, how do you guys expect me to call Lola? Because Lola was living on the island. We were living in Omole, mainland. How do you expect me to tell Lola, my mom wants to see you, and Lola will not come with the baby? It took me 3 hours thinking of, I have to go and meet one of the pastors. I said, is there anything? He said, no, don't worry. Your mom said you shouldn't, like Lola should not come with the baby. Just leave it that way. I said, okay. And I finally got an idea. And I called Lola. Hey, babe, what's up? My mom is in town. Oh, really? And she wants to see you. She said, oh, nice. She wants to see the baby. Okay, I'm going to give the baby a bath once I get up. I said, Lola was so excited. I said, Lola, do not come with the baby. She was like, why? I said, because we fumigated the house. It's not going to be good for the baby to inhale. She said, when did you do the fumigation? I said, even our mom is actually uncomfortable about it, but she just have to manage. So it's not good for the baby. And I said, okay. The next day, Lola came. She called me that she's at the gate. I went outside. While Lola sat in the living room, I didn't see anybody in the house. I didn't see any of my brothers, the pastors. I expect to see them in the living room where Lola was. I didn't see any of them. I just said, let me go check. And I opened the door. In that my master bedroom where my mom was, everybody was seated. Even our firstborn, the one that is older than the next person before Jude, that lives in Lagos, was there. Tony, my brother, was there. The pastors were there. Paul and Jude were there. When I came, I said, okay, Lola is around. They said, tell her to come. The way I was walking to go and call Lola, I was uncomfortable. But I didn't say anything. I brought Lola. Entered the room. That was my room. Master bedroom, which there's a bed and there's a couch. Nobody stood up to say, hey, Lola, sit down. Lola just entered. Good morning, ma. Everybody get it. Nobody even cared to say, Lola, come and sit down here. Nobody. I and Lola sat on the floor in my room. I and Lola sat on the floor. Next thing my mom said, young woman, we the Okoye families here have decided you should leave our son alone. I said, Mom, what's going on? Next thing. Now, because few days before that moment, me and Lola had a little quarrel, as a couple quarrel. Lola was looking at me thinking, maybe I planned it to exit the relationship. Lola just said, babe, what's going on? I said, Lola, come on. I said, Mom, what's going on? Next thing Jude just said, leave our brother alone. I look at Jude's face. It is like Jude said, it is like carry water from mouth. I'm like, hey, can anybody? Everyone there tried to calm Jude down. Next thing, Jude just stretched his hand. Because in that my room, I have my son's picture when he was 3 months old by the side of the bed. Jude stretched his hand and picked it and looked at it. Guess what came out of Jude's mouth? For those who understand Igbo, as the way you run now, Oyene, Unwabu, bastard. All Lola heard was bastard. Lola just said, did he just call her son the pastor? I said, Lola, I was just trying to calm Lola down. Lola started crying. Guess what happened? They pushed Lola out of the house. Yes. I was trying to hold Lola. By the time I would tell Lola, stay down, stay down. Lola, calm down. Lola just opened the door. I opened the door to talk. As I opened the door, I didn't even know that Lola came with our son, with the nanny in the car. Lola still brought our son in the car. That means she was like, to her, like, okay, even if our mom, if the child cannot enter the house, her mom can come outside and see the baby in the car. That's how Lola jammed the door, zoomed off, and went back inside. Everybody have left the room.
This, for me, is the climax of not only this episode 8, but it is the climax of the whole tell-all and the most painful part. This sent chills down everybody's spine. But shall I shock you? This happens a lot in Nigeria. Let us know if it's same in your country, in other African countries, where families put their foot down to the side, refuse or accept or reject a potential husband or wife. Let us know. But I tell you, situations like this are not as rare in Nigerian families as we think. Maybe not exactly as it played out though, but similarly. Let me tell you something. Bosom truth. Every parent has a right not to automatically like or feel comfortable with the person their child wants to marry. Oh yes. A woman is not automatically a bad mother because she has reservations about an intending spouse of their child. A man is not a wicked father because something about his son's or daughter's relationship worries him. For example, a daughter might bring home a soldier that she wants to marry a soldier. A soldier is not a bad person, but the mother may be concerned about the risk tied to the job. A man may bring a mariner as a wife, and the family may be uncomfortable that we should be home, Bikono, to raise a family. She is always on Ugwameri from one place to the other, transfer. There is nothing wrong with the parents wanting what they believe is best for their child or having reservations about someone that their child wants to marry. So, a family may have concerns about an intending spouse's character, job, family background, religious compatibility. Oh yes, let us not pretend like maybe you now as a Christian, your child brings an atheist home, or a Hindu or a Buddhist. Nothing is wrong with that religion, but religious differences is a thing. Let us not pretend that if your child comes with that kind of person, maybe your child just comes with one person that, all those people that put a ring here like this with red hair, that you will just start jumping for joy and celebrating. No, it is normal. You will be like, hey, be welcome. Where did you find, what is going on here? So they may be concerned about the person's value system, family dynamics, or anything, even tribe. Yes, tribe should not inhibit a marriage, should not stop a marriage, but a parent, especially coming from where they were coming, being scared or apprehensive about tribe, they might have experiences driving that fear. For example, maybe an Igbo woman married into a Yoruba family and saw Pepe. The in-laws hated her, she suffered in the marriage, and maybe her daughter brings in a Yoruba husband. There will be apprehension. So we cannot just shame people for that, right? Because I observe that we women, I've noticed, when a woman's parents say, we don't like this man, something doesn't sit right with us, we call it parental wisdom. We call it intuition, discernment. But when a man's family expresses reservation about the woman he wants to marry, suddenly the man is weak. He's being controlled by his mother. He is incapable of making decisions. I saw it when we covered the story of Queen, Big Brother Naija. Many people would pass the judgment, but those people may also not be comfortable if their son brings home a woman whose bare buttocks are clapping on social media. So parents are allowed to have opinions. Parents are allowed to have concerns. But there is a huge difference between having reservations and taking it upon yourself to humiliate that person. There is a difference between saying to your son, I am worried about this relationship, and these are my reasons. There is a difference between that and turning your hostility directly towards that woman herself, insulting her, degrading her, rejecting her publicly to her face, or making her feel like dirt simply because you do not approve her relationship with your child. Mommies, daddies, sisters-in-law, brothers-in-law, I hope you are listening, because this is how many of you ruin relationships and ruin lives. This right that I say you have to be concerned about somebody that your child or your brother or your sister wants to marry does not give you the liberty to start attacking that person. You take your concerns to your child. That is your relationship. You advise him. You counsel him. You warn him if you must. You tell him what you are seeing that you feel like he is not seeing. You pray for him. But you remain civil with the person that he has chosen. If that relationship does not continue, good and fine, okay. But the part that families do not think about in the long term is if that marriage eventually goes ahead. Your child may forgive you. Your child may even understand that you were just acting in their best interest. They will not stop loving you. But you see that spouse, you see that other person that you humiliated, it is everlasting enmity. She will never forget how you treated her, how you made her feel when she was coming into that family. She may say she forgives you, but forgetting is an intelligent matter. She will carry that pain in her heart for you, that anger. And that is how you will end up creating bitterness that would last for decades. That is how every Christmas will become tense. That is how every naming ceremony will become awkward. Every family gathering will become political talk. And every disagreement between husband and wife will have history attached to it. My sister wants to come and visit us. Which sister? The one that humiliated her. In-laws. You may think that you are fighting a relationship today, but if that relationship survives, you may actually be creating an enemy in your own family that you would have to sit with across on the same table for the rest of your life. And that is why wisdom, you see, whenever I'm talking, if you lack the wisdom of God, that is one of the most powerful tools you can ever have to go through life. The wisdom of God. If you lack the wisdom of God, you will make terrible mistakes that cannot be amended. So if you know how you can pray for wisdom, or if you know anywhere you can get wisdom, the Bible says what? Seek wisdom. If you know where you can get wisdom, please go to that place and seek wisdom. I don't know if I've mentioned. If you are new here, you're seeing my face for the first time, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. There is a lot that you're going to learn here. A lot of wisdom that I'm going to share to you. Don't also forget to join our premium channel, where I also share a lot of things, a lot of knowledge that can help all of us, you and I. Scan this code to join or click the link down pinned in the comment section. So demonstrating wisdom as an in-law is not just spotting what you think is wrong with your child's potential spouse. Wisdom also involves knowing how to express your concern without destroying the possibility of peace if your child eventually chooses that person anyways. Do not make that person your enemy. Do not completely ruin the relationship that you people may have. You can still call your child in and talk to your child, but please try and keep it calm and civil with that other person, just in case that marriage continues. Because if your child marries that person after everything you have said and done, you are no longer dealing with that girl or that boy. You are dealing with your child's spouse, the mother or the father of your grandchildren, and somebody who may be in your family for the next 40, 50 years. And what betide you, your child loves and adores that person deeply. You will spoil things for life. Mommies and daddies, brothers-in-law and sisters-in-law, it is not in your place to humiliate anybody that way because the person is getting married to your child. It shows a lack of wisdom. You are spoiling things in the family. And besides, let me point out that we have to admit that our intuition is not always right though. Yes, sometimes what our parents can see from the tree, we cannot see it from the Iroko tree. Yes, we've heard all that, but it's not all the time. Oh. Sometimes what we call discernment is simply our own fear, our own bias, our own assumption. Just as I related in the tribe example of a woman who maybe her sister or her neighbor or have seen, maybe a tribal marriage go so badly. So there's this assumption the person already has. Sometimes we are responding from our own personal biases. Sometimes we are just simply misjudging people. Look at the other twin, Paul, and the lady he married, Anita. The family endorsed the relationship. They were college sweethearts. They met in university. They grew together. The age was, rhyming. The family endorsed it and saw it as the more acceptable, more ideal union, more appropriate. What happened? It ended in divorce. Not to mock them. Divorce is nothing to mock anybody with. But we're just pointing out that that's their intuition. Didn't really play out. Because that marriage ended. The ones that were supported ended up not working out. But look at the one that is standing today. It is that one that was rejected, that was refused, that was, So the fact that a family approves of one person and disapproves of another does not automatically mean that they have correctly predicted which relationship will succeed and which one will fail. Parents can advise, but they can also be wrong. Like every other human being, nobody is infallible. If what Peter narrated indeed happened, then I don't want to use the word unforgivable, but that is unforgettable. That is too bad and too painful. Having said that, what is the way forward? In the last P-Square video, not the one before this one, I mean the one we did some months ago before this saga broke, that video of some months ago, I mentioned something. I said that the final solution to this whole thing lies in one person's hand. Primarily, it lies in Lola's hands. Even long before Peter came out with this story, I told you that Lola, what she chooses to do or not to do, will make all the difference in the fight amongst his brothers. And at the beginning of this video, also remember that I told you that I do not think Peter's deepest need right now is simply court justice. You stole from me, you must pay back what you stole from me, prison, court. I do not think that is Peter's deepest need, because the matter is already before the courts. The legal process is already taking its course. Jude is the one that has been suffering legally. He's the one that his travel documents has been confiscated. He can't travel. He can't go anywhere. His bank account is frozen. He's the one being held in detention. He's already going through it legally. Yet, Peter is still coming out publicly, still talking, still crying online, still recounting the pain. That tells me that what he is looking for may be bigger and deeper than judgments. He wants to be heard. He wants some acknowledgement. He wants someone to own up. He wants apologies. He wants an admission. Sometimes when someone is hurt, they aren't looking for punishment though. They are looking for validation of their pain. Has someone ever hurt you before, and maybe the person, maybe someone beat you, you didn't cry when the person beat you, but immediately the person says, oh yeah, sorry. Once the person apologizes, you just pass it. That is like, the fulfillment that you got from that person owning up to the wrong and apologizing, that's all you want. That is what I see that this Peter is demonstrating. And when I said Lola may be the solution, I didn't mean it that Peter is simply acting Lola's scripts, or that his wife is the one pushing him or controlling him. But let us be real though. If someone treated you as terribly as Peter is saying that Jude treated Lola, would you honestly expect to be the one campaigning every morning and night for reconciliation? Will you? Or let's be honest here. So even if Lola is the one pushing, will you really blame her? Right? If what Peter has said is true, that she was rejected like this, pushed out of the house, humiliated with her child, her baby called the bastard by Jude, if all that happened, then we must acknowledge that she herself would be carrying wounds from this family. That's the scars will be too deep. So no, I am not going to just sit here and blame her if she has not been the loudest voice saying, oh yeah, go and forgive everybody, let your elder brother go. I will not blame her if she's not saying that, because she herself is also carrying wounds, judging by Peter's account. I keep saying that. But the point I was making is about the extraordinary influence a wife, a woman, can have over a man who deeply loves her. Sometimes the only person who can look at a man in the middle of his anger and say, baby, it's enough, let it go, and actually get through to him is the woman that he loves. And we can tell that Peter loves his wife very much. That's why when this fight and battles were stretching 10 years, 5 years, I was like, where is Lola? Not to blame her, but because I know the influence a wife that is loved by her husband can have on him. There is nothing that she cannot do to that man, even to make him change his mind. Have you ever seen a man, all those tough men, military men that will say, don't worry, tomorrow I would fire this person, I will do this, and the man goes to his bedroom and the next day he comes out not doing it? Know that the wife has played piano, that is rewired the man. The man will come out and he won't do that thing that he said he wanted to do. That is the power. Now look at the dynamics of this family today. Their mother, who might have occupied that powerful emotional position, also is late. Anita, Paul's ex-wife, who is also good friends with Lola, we see their children still relating, right? And she was part of the family from those earlier years. She understood the history. Where is she? They are divorced. Paul's current wife. Oh, Gen Z, clock it, baby girl. She came into the picture much later. She didn't live through the original history. There is very little her influence can do. Very little difference that she can make. You see, with the way things have gotten so bad now, between these brothers, if Anita was still in the family and Anita teams up with Lola, and they hold their husbands like this, use their two legs like this, and hold their husbands and say, baby, you will kill me if you don't stop this thing. If you don't withdraw this lawsuit, you will kill me. And the women are crying like this and hold their husbands' legs. You see, this fight would have ended. I don't really know if Jude listens to his wife, but even at that, the toughest men, their wives still have some influence on their decisions. So now, mommy is gone, death. Anita is gone, divorce. Jude's wife, she herself had been drawn into the conflict. Nobody wants to see her or hear of her. She's already being viewed very negatively. In fact, Peter sees her as an accomplice. Lola, however, remains right there at the center of everything. She lived through that history. Her husband's pain, a bulk of his pain, emanates from her own pain and rejection. She experienced some of those tensions personally. She knows not just the man granting those interviews, but she knows all three of them. She is one of the few people, if not the only person, with enough emotional intelligence or emotional influence rather, to do something about this situation. But I must add that reconciliation cannot be built on pretending that nothing happened. If reconciliation happens without genuine acceptance and restitution, it will collapse again. So if Jude truly did these things that Peter alleges that he did to Lola, regardless of his intentions, there has to be an apology. Not just I'm sorry, a heartfelt, a real apology to Lola, an acknowledgement of what was done, and him humbly asking for her forgiveness. Because if all Peter has narrated is true, then we cannot quite ask Peter to heal his relationship with his brothers while ignoring wounds inflicted on him and inflicted on the woman that he loves, the mother of his children, the woman that he has built his life with. And the same applies in every direction. As I said, in this particular case, I do not believe that there are absolute perfect victims and absolute perfect villains. So the same should apply in every direction. Wherever Peter was wrong, he should acknowledge it. Wherever Paul did wrong, he should acknowledge it. Wherever Jude erred, he should acknowledge it too. Because it's just like, have you ever been running? Maybe you just came out of a room, you are running, you're not looking, and somebody too is running, bussa! Two of you collide, boy. Immediately you collide, you check your head like this. Now you're looking at yourself, because it is human for us to check ourselves first, for us to look out for ourselves first, right? So when you collide with somebody, you check yourself and see whether you are hot, right? You might check your head and see that you have one cocoa. One cocoa has swollen on your head. You are hot. You are in pain. You are frustrated. You are angry. But it might take you putting your head up and looking at the other person that you collided with. And you might find that that person, blood is oozing from their nose and their mouths. They have more wounds than you. Then you might realize that this collision didn't only wound me. The other person was hurt too. So it takes whenever there's a conflict, it takes not only looking at ourselves in the mirror and seeing the damage that was done to us by another person, but it might also take us the humility of looking at the next person. When we see the injuries from the next person, we might even forget our own pain. We're like, Jesus, my own is just cocoa. See this person. Everybody has to come down from the mountain of I was the victim and ask, where did I contribute to this? What part, what role did I play to get things to deteriorate this badly between me and my blood, my flesh and blood? That is the only solution. That is the only solution. Humility and self-reflection, self-introspection. And I know that some people, might say, oh, no, Neze, no. Prison. He must go to jail. Jill must go to jail. It is easy for us to say. It is. It's very convenient. How convenient? Let me tell you something, my dear brothers and sisters. If this were your own family, if these were your two sons from your womb, where one sucked breast and remained for the other one to continue sucking, your children drawing blood, determined to kill each other, will you sit in your living room excitedly shouting and urging them that one must destroy the other? Reflect. Think. You watching me, will you say, go ahead, jail your elder brother, do it, go on, yes? Will you? Or will you say, enough? My children, Ozugo, calm down. Come home. Let us sit down. Let us settle this thing. Which one will you do? Tell yourself the truth. Mothers, urging these brothers to keep fighting and imprisoning and killing themselves. What will you do? Look at those two boys that you are raising. Look at your children. Tell me what you will do. Because it's easy for us to sit on our social media high horses and say things. Now, that does not mean that criminal allegations are not genuine legal issues, but because we know that the courts cannot repair every wound. If the court can repair some wounds, Peter will not still be crying on social media. Is he not the one that initiated the case? He is the nominal complainant. If he wants to withdraw the case today, he can withdraw it and tell the EFCC, I don't want to continue with this case. So. But he's still in court, but he's still crying on social media because the courts cannot heal that wound. At some point, there has to be a human solution to a human problem, especially where it involves family. And you watching me, urging these brothers to keep going. You will not want your children's misunderstanding to become public entertainments. Go to the comment section, go to Mr. P's comment section. You will see people there shouting, hailing him, encouraging him. Part 2. Mr. P, you said you are releasing part 6 for us. It's 12 midnight. It's time for part 2. Tell us what happened next. It is entertainment to the world. It is story time. It is content. It is gist. But you and I will close our Instagram or YouTube and continue with our lives. But these are real people. These are real brothers. There are children who have the same blood in their veins and bear the same surname and look alike, will pass themselves like this and refuse to eat in each other's houses and will not relate because of this. That would carry the consequences of this conflict. These are relationships that can affect another generation and the generation after and after them, long after all of us watching have forgotten these headlines that we are getting entertained with. So at some point, the entertainment has to end and this family has to find a solution. Let them sit down. Let them tell each other the ugly truths. Let everybody own their parts with humility. Let apologies be made where apologies are due. Let forgiveness come gradually where it can. They may never be the PSQUARE as we knew it, that we once knew. They may never walk together again. They may never become the besties that they were or friends again, but at least they can stop being enemies. They can stop handing this pain down to their children. Have you ever seen Jude's children with Peter's children? Not even one single photograph together. Have you seen Jude's wife with Peter's wife? Generational enmity. They can decide, now that they are alive, that this war will end with us. And I say this not as a lawyer, but with tears in my heart, as a mother first, as a mother of sons. And I know that that is exactly what you will do if you were your sons. I really do hope and pray for reconciliation and peace in the Okoye family. I would watch out if more information comes alight and be sure that I would inform us if anything else does. Let us drop our thoughts and our feelings down in the comment section. So guys, yes, we have come to the end of today's video. If you are new here, you are seeing my face for the first time, or if you've been watching us without subscribing, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, give this video a big thumbs up, drop your thoughts down in the comment section, and stay glued for we have so much more coming your way. Don't forget to purchase a copy of our book. We're talking about wisdom and how to get wisdom. If you see anybody that God has blessed with the gift of wisdom, you know, some people you have to seek for wisdom and learn it. Some people, they are naturally endowed with wisdom. If you see such a person, please latch onto that person and tap from that person's wisdom. There is no shame or pride in doing that. So, if you're yet to get a copy of our book, The Unbroken Spirit, don't forget to grab a copy. It's on Amazon. It's right here on our YouTube shop. So if you look below, you will see products, right? You can click and purchase right here on YouTube. Easy peasy. Thank you so much for sticking around with me. It's me, your girl, Barrister Neze. And this is Nezeville. I'll see you in our next one. For now, bye.